Welcome to the Deep Dive. And just before we start, a quick mention that today's Deep Dive is brought to you by Access Softtech, the premier provider of digital banking solutions.
Great to be here.
So today, we're tackling something, well, fundamental. How you log into your bank.
Yes.
Specifically, this idea of finally saying goodbye to the password.
Yeah, and you might think, oh, easy, just switch everyone to Face ID or fingerprints. But what we found pretty quickly is that actually killing off the password, it's not that simple, not quick either.
No, not at all. And one of the really surprising things that jumped out was just how many people still type in a password on their mobile banking app.
Right. Even when, the fingerprint sensor or the face scan is right there, it's faster, it's easier, definitely more secure. So the big question we were wrestling with is, well, why? Why stick with the password?
And it seems like it really just, it boils down to habits, doesn't it? Comfortable habits are just incredibly hard to break.
Exactly. We've used passwords for decades, really. There's this muscle memory. It's familiar, even if it's sometimes a pain.
So getting people to actively choose something new, even if it is objectively better, means fighting that ingrained behavior.
That's the core challenge for banks, really, that human element. You can have the best tech, the most secure biometric system, but if people don't actually use it consistently, you haven't solved the password problem.
Okay, so if the real goal is to ditch the password entirely, get rid of those vulnerabilities everywhere,
Yeah.
what's the strategy? What needs to happen?
Right.
Our work pointed to two main things.
Yeah, two fundamental pieces. First, making biometric authentication truly ubiquitous everywhere.
Meaning not just the mobile app.
Exactly, not just mobile. Think logging into online banking on your computer, proving it's you when you call the contact center, maybe even at the branch or ATM down the line. It has to be the standard way, consistently across all those channels.
Okay, that makes sense. You can't leave the password hanging around as a weak link somewhere else. So widespread biometrics. Got it. What was the other key part?
The other really critical element is building up a secure, reliable image database of users.
An image database. How does that work?
Well, the idea is during processes like opening an account online, something that's becoming much more common, the bank captures and verifies a photo ID, maybe a selfie match. That verified image then becomes sort of anchor.
Ah, an anchor for doing biometric checks later across all those different places you mentioned.
Precisely. It underpins the whole passwordless system. So you need that robust, secure data layer behind the scenes.
So it's less about just swapping out one login method for another and more like redesigning the entire identity verification foundation.
Yeah, it's a much bigger shift.
Yeah.
And what we really stressed is the urgency here. Financial institutions, they really need a clear strategy right now for how they're going to phase out the password.
Okay, why the urgency? What's the risk of moving slower?
Well, the risk is just continuing as we are, which means digital fraud losses, especially through online and mobile channels, they're just going to keep climbing. Passwords are that weak point, and, fraudsters know it. They hammer away at it. Delaying means basically accepting more risk, more losses.
Right, so for you listening, your bank is probably navigating this huge transition as we speak, getting biometrics to work seamlessly everywhere, building those secure background systems. It's a massive job, all driven by keeping your account safe.
It really is. And it makes you think, doesn't it, about our own digital habits. Passwords have been part of our online lives for so long, for everything.
Yeah.
How much actual effort does it take, not just from the tech companies, but from us as users, to consciously shift away from something so familiar, even when there's clearly a better, safer way right in front of us?
What is that inertia, that sticking with the old way? Tell us about how we adopt technology and that constant push and pull between wanting things easy and needing things secure. Something to think about next time you log in.